Hi, I'm Kathy Heller from the Minerva Public Library, and I'm here to talk to you about the last week of our summer reading, Imagine Your Story 2020. This week's feature is Little Red Riding Hood. We have loads of books about Little Red Riding Hood, and some are changing the story around, like Little Red's Riding Hood. And how about this one? The Cat, the Dog, Little Red, the Exploding Egg, the Wolf, and Grandma. Sounds good, doesn't it? That one's a lot of fun. Our video today will explain how to do some crafts and activities that you can do at home. If you visit the library, you can get a packet of information and products to make the projects. And if you can't visit the library, you can make these at home with some things you have at home. We're going to use watercolors today. So there's watercolors, some crayons, glue, scissors. Those things come in a packet at the library of supplies that you can get at any time you want, and we would be glad to send those home with you. Your packet for Little Red Riding Hood will have in some paper and a couple cutouts, and it doesn't look like it has very many things in it. It'll have the story, and it has how to play a game, What Time Is It, Mr. Wolf, that you could play with your friends. So the packet is a little thin, but I think the projects are a lot of fun. We're going to make an origami wolf. Oh, oh. And we're going to paint a forest where the wolf and Little Red Riding Hood can chase each other. All right, as you know, when you're going to paint with watercolors, you want to warm up your paints first by getting them a little bit wet. So I used black and green and brown. You can put water on any of the colors that you want, but I wanted to go ahead and put some water on those colors so they'll be ready when we're going to paint. And while the paints are getting ready, we're going to make our little wolf. Okay, but you can't see him very well. So for the wolf, we need a piece of paper that is a square. If you have a long piece of paper, like a regular sized piece of paper, the way to make it a square is to fold a diagonal fold and then cut off the bottom. And that will give you a square. For this project, you do need that diagonal fold. So first fold your paper in a diagonal, and then we're going to turn it so that long flat fold is on the bottom. Next, you're going to fold these two sides up to meet in the middle. I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so it was a flat fold on the bottom. Now you're going to fold them both up, and now you have a diamond. Okay, you're going to take that diamond and fold it kind of like backwards. You have a triangle again. It helps if you make sure all of your folds are creased real hard. Do it with your thumb, between your thumb and finger. Now you have a bottom piece that's where they're all the folds are kind of together. You have a part that opens that's kind of two folds together, and the top is the three. Do you see how the three are together? All right, so I'm going to turn it this way. This part that's all the kind of folded up together is your tail. So you're going to fold that over, maybe a little more than halfway. See how that's folded? And then you're going to just fold, you don't want to crease your tail, but you're going to fold this part kind of in towards that. So you have the tail folded over one way, and you have the top folded over the other. You crease that. Boy, that's hard. That's really thick right there. And then when you open it up, you just have that part like that. You open these two flaps, and as you do that, you see how this bends down? You open these two flaps and you bend down the nose, and you might have to stick your finger in it to get it to stick out. And then you bend the tail around, and it helps them to sit up. All right, and there's your wolf. You can take your crayons or markers and draw eyes or a nose or dripping bangs, whatever you want to do. Your wolf could be gray, if you have gray paper, whatever you want. So there's your wolf. Now we're going to do the art project. Now I will tell you what, I put newspaper down on this table because I don't want to get paint all over everything, including all my library books that are on here. Might move them a little bit. This paper or this painting involves some dripping. So I also have some paper towels. I have newspaper down and I have paper towels. So you can see these fabulous trees, all right, are really simple to make. I took my paintbrush. You'll have one in your paints if you got a paint set from us. And you're making dots across the top of your paper. You want to use kind of a lot of water when you're painting on these, okay? And it's easier, obviously, to make the dots when your paper is lying down, not like I'm doing when I'm holding my paper up. So I'm just going to make a couple more dots, and then I'll hold it up and show you what happens. A lot of water on those. Now, when you hold your paper up this way again, you're hoping to hold it straight. You can see I'm a little bit crooked, and it kind of runs down the paper. Now, can you see how I need a lot more water? Let me show you again. I'm going to do more water and more paint. I'm going to make my splotches bigger than they were because I started off a little too small. I'm going to add a couple more brown. Okay, so I was being very nice the first time and making little dots, but now I made my dots a lot bigger. Now, you see how that's running down? All right, very good. Now I have, you can see, drips all over my paper towels. So be careful, you gotta watch your mess here. I decided that even though I liked the way these came down, that I thought I just kind of want to paint them a little bit thicker. So I'm just water, paint. I'm giving them some more water up here, seeing if they'll drip down a little bit thicker. You need a lot of water. See how those are dripping down a little bit thicker? Or you could just take your brush and follow those down. This one didn't go very far. Oh, this one's all over my fingers. My fingers are brown. This black one didn't want to move at all. I don't know what's up with that. All right, and maybe some green. My green and brown are all mixed up now because of all this paint on my paintbrush. All right. So what you're making here is your woods. So you can see your trees in the forest, and what did I do on this one? But after I let all this paint drip off, still dripping, then I took my brush and I painted up. So on this brown tree, I wanted to paint up, and I made some branches. Doesn't matter where they go or how they are. I think my brown and green are pretty well mixed up together because I keep dipping in brown and getting green paint. Okay? The more trees you make, the darker and thicker is your forest. All right, now I'm going to let that drip a little bit longer, but I'll show you while that's drying what we would do next. While you're waiting for your paint to dry, you have a little cutout of a Red Riding Hood and a wolf. Now you could draw your own, or if you have red paper or gray paper or something, you want to cut them out, that would be fine. I thought it might be a little bit hard for some people, so I just went ahead and included it in this packet. If you want, you can have Little Red Riding Hood glued on your wood somewhere, or you can play out the story, color your wolf, cut him out, cut out Little Red Riding Hood, and you could have her going through the forest, do, 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 do. And here comes the wolf. And what does the wolf say to Little Red Riding Hood in the forest? Where are you going? Where is she going? Do you remember the story? She's going to Grandma's. Do you want a wolf following you to Grandma's? I don't know, Little Red Riding Hood. You should hide or run or something. Do you know what happens in the Little Red Riding Hood story? If you don't know, the story is in your packet, or you can come and visit the library and pick out a book about the story. And if you look on our YouTube channel, we also have Miss Sarah telling the story of Little Red Riding Hood. So lots of ways to hear the story, and we hope you enjoyed this craft project, making your little origami wolf, and read inside your packet how to play What time is it, Mr. Wolf? And you can have a fun chasing game with your friends. All right, thank you for joining us today.